Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 5-10, rounding and reporting large numbers. Today you should be able to tell me after the lesson that you can read and write whole numbers, identify digits and their values. That should be easy because we've been doing a whole lot of that lately. I can describe differences between estimates and exact counts. I can round large numbers to a given place, and I can use data presented in a table. So let's quickly go over I can read and write whole numbers. Identify digits and their values. That's basically what we did yesterday with the other day with the billions. We said a number like this is 926,487,323,071. And what we're doing here is we are going to identify digits and their values. Pretty simple. This right here is it's in the 900 million, or it's in the 100 millions place, so it's 100 billions place, so it's 900 billion. This is in the 100 millions place, so it's 400 million. This is in the 100,000th place, so it's 300,000. This digit would be in the thousands place, so it would be 3,000. This would be in the millions place, so it would be 7 million. And so on. You should be able to get that, no problem. You've been doing that quite a bit this year. Alright, so the next thing is I can describe differences between estimates and exact counts. So, in the Boston Marathon in 1994 had 9,059 runners. Okay, that was the reported number of runners. In 2004, they had 20,344. Knowing this data right here that they collected, and this actually also could fall into, I used data presented in a table. There's not exactly a table on here, but this one over here, when we get to this page here, there'll be a table. But it says, I can describe differences between estimates and exact counts. If in 1994 there were 9,059 people, and in 2004 20,344 people, do you think that this would be an estimate or an exact count? And why is that? I want you to kind of put down your answer on a dry erase board or in your reader's note or in your math notebook. Okay, so do you think it's exactly? Think about it. All right. Hopefully you said it was an exact count, because so what I was saying is I would say it's pretty close to being exact, because it's such a strange number. Most people are going to estimate 9,059. But in a race, when you race, you sign up for a race, and they give you a number that you'd wear, just like some of you do in the fun run here at school. You wear a number on their front and back, and you register for the race, and you run the race, and they see at the end what your time was. So it would be close. I guess it'd be an exact count, just because it would. It's such a strange number. If you were to estimate it, you would probably say that there were around 9,000 racers. And then here you would say there are close to 20,000 racers. So that's how you find the difference between estimates and exact counts. As for classrooms, you mean if someone said, I have 27 kids in our class, would that be an exact count or an estimate? One, most likely you know how many kids are in the class, so that'd be exact. But two, if you round it, you'd say I'd estimate about 30 kids in the class. So that's how you find the difference between estimates and exact counts. Alright, so using the marathon count that we just said of 20,344, we are going to talk about our next I can statement. I can round large numbers to a given place. Alright, so knowing that we are rounding 20,344, if I wanted you to round to the nearest 100, you would have to follow these steps, the 100 place right there. Okay, so first step would be, I'm going to move this up here, get this out of the way. First step would be to mark the digit in the place you are rounding to. Okay, here's the place we're rounding. We're rounding to the hundreds place. Okay, then you need to replace all the digits to the right of this digit with zeros. This would be the lowest number. So knowing that we're rounding here, that's a digit, we are going to say 20,300 would be our lowest. That's our lowest rounding number. And then if I want to get to the higher digit, I would take the underlined digit and move it up 1 to 4, and then put zeros after it. So once you have these two options up here, this is the lowest it could be, and this is the highest it could be. When you're only rounding to the hundreds place, you need to tell yourself, is 20,344 closer to 20,300 or 20,400? Knowing that the 5 is kind of the middle, and right now, which actually would be the 50 in this case, right now we're at 44, so we're on this side of the 350. That way it would be this number. This number would be closer because 44 is closer to 300 than it is to 400, because it takes 56 more to get up to 400 and go down 44 to get to 300. So that would be your rounding to the hundreds place. Okay, so let's do a few more. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to try to at least. There we go. I'm going to move this right out of the way here. Let's let's do a few more. I'm going to give you a number. 9,059. Like I said, it's tough to kind of write with this thing on. I want you to round it to the nearest 1,000. So I'm going to go over this one with you. Alright, so I'm going to underline the thousands place because that's what we have there. We have a 9. Okay, we have 9 in the thousands place, and that's what we said we're going to round to. So you get the lowest number by taking the 9, and I'm going to do low here, high here. So the low will be 9,000 because to get the low, you keep the digit how it is and make all zeros after it. The high number is you move the digit you've underlined up 1 and make zeros after it. Okay, so now look at the digits around the 9. You have 9,059. Is 059 closer to 9,000 or is it closer to 10,000? If you take a look at it, you realize that 59 is a lot closer to the 9,000 because you're only 59 away from getting 9,000, and you are 941 away to get into 10,000. So your answer would be, the lowest would be there. I'm going to write a couple more up here. It's going to be the same number a few more times. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to underline the number that I want you to round. Okay, that one, and then, whoops, not that one. And the 5. Okay, I want you to do this on your own. Find which the lowest number would be and what the highest number would be, and then circle the one that would be correct. Alright, so first of all, you put the 9 on each of these because you're not messing with the 9. And this one you put comma, 0, and then 0, 0. This is the lowest it could be again because you want to keep that as 0 and you make everything after a 0. The highest it could be is a 9 here, and then a 159. I'm sorry, that is not a 159. It would be a 1 with zeros after it. So is 9059 closer to 9,000 or is it closer to 9,100? You're only 41 away from 9,100. You're 59 away from here, so that's not the right answer. Next one, we're going to round the 5. So we keep the 9 and the 0 the same. We go to the 5 and make everything after a 0. Okay, so that would give us our low. And now we're going to go to make the 9 and make the 0, but this time we're going to move the 5 up to a 6 and make everything after a 0. So is 9,059 closer to 9,050 or 9,060? If you look, you're only 1 away from 60 and you're 9 away from 50. So this would be your best rounding answer. I'm going to write another number up here a few times, and I want you to round to the nearest number that I'm telling you, the nearest place value I'm telling you. It's going to be the same number 3 times. I'm going to underline a different digit each time. First time I want you to round the thousands place, then I want you to round the hundreds place, then I want you to round the tens place. So pause it, find the lowest, find the highest, find out which one makes the most sense. Alright, so hopefully you put the 2, you put the 0 because you keep it to find the low, and here's the high, but to find the low you keep it 2, and then you keep the 0, 0, and then make everything after it a 0. To find the high, you make it a 2, then make the 0 a 1, and make everything after it zeros. Is 344 closer to the 1,000, or is it closer to the 0? Well, because we know 500 is a halfway point to 1,000, then this would be your closest rounding number. That would not. Next one, 20,000. We'll keep that one a 3, make everything after a 0. 20,000, make it a 4, and make everything after a 0. So that means you look at the last two digits. Is 44 closer to the 100 below it of 300, or is it closer to the 100 above it to 400? Well, it's 56 away from 400. It's 44 away from 300, so it's closer to that. The last one, 20. Put the 3 the same. Put the 4 down. Make everything after a 0. Over here, 20. Put the 3 down. Make it a 5 this time. You go up 1, then make it everything a 0. Is the 4 closer to 5 or closer to the 4? It would be closer to the 4, just barely. So I want to quickly show you a chart that kind of helps you better understand. Let me see if I can get it. Sorry. Number lines. Okay, so find the halfway number here in all of these. Halfway number between 30 and 35, or 30 and 40 is 35. So anything 35 and above, you'd round up to 40. Here, 880 and 890 would be 885. Anything above the 5 would round to 890. Okay, I want you to find the halfway number for these two, and then if you want to create one of your own, you can. Alright, so hopefully 3,400 and 3,500, you all did 3,450, and then at 71,000 and 72,000, you did 71,500. That'd be halfway to 72,000. Whatever you did in the last one, cool. Alright, so what I want you to do next is I want you to turn to page 102 or 132 in your math journals, and I want you to complete 1, 2, 3, and 4 and round to the nearest 1,000 on each of these. Should be pretty easy.